you try really hard. You try and put all of this stuff together and get all the tech working, and you put out videos where you say, we're having problems with the sound, and we know we're having problems with the sound, and we're going to do something about the problems with the sound. But don't worry, we've got some stuff in the can, and we're all ready to sort it out. But then what you do is you start editing with a big fat nope. You start editing the final 2 episodes that you had just as you were starting to have all of these tech problems, and this was going to be the last time that you had these tech problems. That was going to be it. And what you discover in some terrifying, horrible moments, because you realise that you now don't have any slack left in the system, is that while you have, as a GM, recorded your voice more or less better than it was, but not by much, you have somehow managed to make sure that none of the players can be heard for an entire 2 episodes. 2 whole episodes of sound in the bin.
We did it all in cooperative dance. That's why you didn't hear anything.
It's not like I have anything useful to say anyway.
I was going to say maybe he just likes the sound of his own voice.
Hey, that's the number 1 reason I GM.
Yeah, well, yeah. Okay.
Are you going for some narration work next week?
So, what can I say? We're short 2 episodes for what will ever be known as the lost episodes, episodes 8 and 9. I was in this kind of mood to sort of highlight at the beginning of this. The whole plan was to go episode 10. That's when you tell everybody to start listening, because the sound is really cool and they've sorted out loads of the problems. But this is now officially not episode 10. This is 8, because we've lost 8 and 9. So you tell everybody to start listening from episode 8, where they'll talk and rant about the fact that they can't manage their own tech. Let's
blame the goblins. It's all the tech goblins.
I'm not going to blame anybody. This has been hard. It's been hard getting this going. I'm not going to deny that. I'm going to say, getting to the point of running games is pretty easy. I've got that more or less sort of set up and everything, but to throw in the tech side of recording and having stuff, I mean, hats off to the guys that stream. I guess when you're streaming, if you've not got sound, then somebody perks up fairly quickly and tells you, which we don't have here, and that's a sort of downside, I guess, of not being streamers. But we couldn't have done this as streaming. We all have commitments and time, and that means sometimes things happen, which means we can't be around at the same time as everyone else. That's fine. That's the way that the world works, and we're doing our darndest to get as much stuff as done as possible, and that's fine. But yeah, tech, wonderful tech, getting in the way, putting pay to all of the plans. So, firstly, I want to apologise. This is on, I've taken this a little bit on the chin, which some people have told me not to, but I apologise for the loss of the 2 episodes. It's a pretty, it's a shame, because there was actually some fun little moments in those 2 things, and we can't let people know about them, in terms of we can't let people watch them. But we will try and recap them. We will try and sort of do a little bit of a thing in a bit to explain what happened and what's going on. You'll note when we get to the map that the players are more or less actually where you saw them the last time that they did an episode. No, you would have got around to the point where you went into the sinkhole, but and you would have seen the start of the fight that they had against the 4 creatures that were in the sinkhole. But you won't know why they're back at the boathouse in as much detail as perhaps we wanted you to. But so quick thank you to OBS for making me think I was recording everything properly, and I wasn't. And thank you for Sirenscape for the music that you didn't hear, because the sound on that side wasn't recorded. And we've done some tests and checks before we started. We're going to have to cram in our 2 episodes tonight, because because I have started everybody late. But we wanted to make darn certain that we were recording this episode, making sure that we had content and making sure that everything was out and ready. It's the new year! Yay!
Happy
New year, new things. Happy New Year, everyone.
Woo.
Yeah, woo, another one, 2022. Let's see what
That's
this one...
2020.
Again, yeah.
2000 was only a couple of years ago, wasn't it?
We
Yes.
had Blade Runner year. Now we're into Soylent Green year.
I saw something recently which said that a band released a song called 1985 in 2004, and if they released the same song today, they'd have to call it 2002. It was just like,
Stop it.
yeah.
No, you denied
I saw
it.
that and I was like, I hate it. I hate everything about it.
Yeah, me too. So yes, welcome to the rushing of years in the time when you can't do anything about it. In either case, we're back. We're back recording. We're back doing 2 episodes tonight. The sort of peek behind the curtain. We record 2 and then we release them separated out over the
We
over
don't.
the 2 weeks.
Stop it. Stop telling them our secrets.
That young lady there that was just speaking up has also been making some more content that we can get out for everybody. So you'll actually get a glimpse into some of the stuff that I did in these guys' sort of level 0 adventure, which Becky there is putting together, doing all the graphics for and all the rest of it, or at least the animation for. So there should be some additional bits and pieces, and we are looking at some more content because, as I say, real life is real life, and it's certainly not been easy for like pretty much most of us over the past few weeks, and it's been hard getting everything sorted out. So yeah, we've got some stuff coming which will hopefully fill out and give some people some stuff to watch. And I've been doing some stuff on Wanderer's Guide today so that my homebrew world can start coming together. So yeah, there's tons of stuff that we can start talking about. So hopefully we'll get some more things out in the next few weeks and keep everybody entertained as well as ourselves interested in our game, which is the main thing. To be fair, that's the main thing. We want to have fun, and if you vicariously have fun around us, that's cool too. But the main thing is that we're having a laugh with the game, and I think that's still the case. I think that the Abominations Vault has been a hell of a lot of fun in terms of the stuff that you guys have done so far. So shall we just recap the last 2 things that don't exist? The last 2 episodes. Briefly, in summary, because that is going to be the best way of doing this. After fighting the 4 blue creatures, I'm doing my darndest to make sure I don't use the right name, because I have used it over and over, and these guys already know what the creature is, but have never ever actually identified them.
We did last session.
Did you manage to work out
yes.
what they were?
Yes.
Discovery that they are these Mitflits, these gremlin type creatures, Fey type creatures. They captured one of them in their brawl in the sinkhole and decided that what they wanted to do was interrogate this creature. An effort was made by Anka and Mosran to intimidate. And we shall leave it to the audience to decide if that was just simply unsuccessful or utterly failed in terms
Not
of...
my fault it was stubborn.
It was entirely lost in translation. It didn't speak Orcish, which was entirely its own fault.
In either case, after some discussion about what to do about this creature, the ultimate choice was to knock it out again. It got bashed over the head with a pole arm once more, and shoved into the room, the chamber that the party had fought the giant flies in. Basically as a way of getting it out of the way. They didn't tie it up. They just shoved it in the room and sort of went along the lines of, it'll either wake up and make its merry way, or it'll still be in there and it'll be unconscious, and forevermore it shall stay. And then rather than carrying on where they were, the party suddenly went, well, Anka seems to be really bothered by that shrine to the north. Let's see if we can get to there.
It's a big, scary shrine.
Qualified entirely as suspicious, I do believe.
Now, having already seen that there might be some sort of scorpion thing in one of the rooms, which you were quite thankful for the fact that the door on this, in the large chamber, the door to that scorpion seemed to be currently blocked off by fallen rubble. A little bit of discerning made you realise you could climb over all of that rubble and get to it if you wanted to, but the choice was perhaps that wasn't really what you wanted to do. Instead, you went north through a central chamber, which opened up, and very quickly Mosrin was able to spot, with some astoundingly high perceptive rolls, that there was a secret door. And the secret door, as they opened it up, led to a set of stairs going down. Sort of footnoting that and saying, okay, let's pencil that, put a pin in it, we'll carry on because we're going to this shrine. Again, Mosrin spots the secret door that's in the following chamber that takes them through to the shrine. Rather luckily, but the second they open the door, they find a dead body, which is not the nicest thing in the world to have spotted. And 2 additional dead bodies in the actual temple area itself. As Anka and Mosrin progress up the stairs into that chamber, 2 creatures, which they discovered were corpse lights, a version of Will-o'-the-wisps that had effectively starved and could only really do stuff when they inhabited the corpses of dead creatures, brought the 2 acolyte corpses, the 2 that had been in the temple themselves, to life and started attacking the group. They managed to kill one pretty quick, but there was another corpse behind them, and they failed to kill the corpse light as it floated out of the body and inhabited another corpse. So they ended up having quite a concerted and long fight. In fact, the fight lasted the entire end of one session into the next one. Oleron, the badger, almost got himself wiped out by a gaze type effect that these creatures can do, but thanks to Anka's retributive strike, which reduced the damage that Oleron took, and then the strike itself killing the creature, or at least the corpse that the creature was in, they were able to fairly rapidly deal with the corpse lights without the loss of
I
any.
valiantly saved a badger.
You did indeed.
That's what's going to be on my grave when I eventually perish in this place.
Valiantly saved a badger. In either case, they have taken the choice to then basically pop out of the building. It was starting to get late anyway, heal themselves up, and have a night's rest, with Neffy scoffing away some of the pies that they had discovered earlier in order to keep fed, although most people were able to dig through on rations. So, what we will do is we will start from there. As the night sort of goes down. Go on, Moz, what are you going to say?
I was just double checking. Are the audience aware of the fact that Neffy has stolen pie? Was that in the last session or the session before, or was that?
No. They are aware.
That was one of the last things we did. Yeah.
They're aware that there is pie that's been stolen.
Stolen pie.
Stolen pie.
Found.
Something we might want to mention is Neffy's little looting of one of the bodies.
What did I loot? I looted something?
Corpse robbing? I seem to recall some corpse robbing went on.
No, I didn't. What are you on about?
There is a rapier, I believe, that Neffy has picked up.
Ah, yes, I did.
which has a certain amount of magical aura to it after the process. In fact, one of the main reasons why they came outside was to do the fun and games with detect magic to work out whether or not the rapier was magical or not. So there's a whole heap of they've had a look at that and they've identified that rapier.
We found an amulet as well.
Neffy has it, and there is an amulet, that has been discovered. The amulet.
The thing is, they didn't need it; they were dead.
Well, I mean, that is technically true. You also have a liquid that you don't know because you were unable to identify it. And yes, there is
broken up desks.
Yeah, there is the broken up desks that you found a few bits and pieces in those. But yes, you've also found a amulet which you identified as a channel protection amulet, which is, I mean, basically helps you reduce the damage from a harm spell if you're living or a heal spell if you're dead. So there's a potential in there for something. Oh, and just to sort of vaguely highlight, ultimately the approach taken to the chapel and the shrine itself was to smash it as much as possible because they identified that it was a Nimbleoff shrine, which they didn't particularly want hanging around. So there was a little bit of vandalism done as well. So our party of heroes, the vandals and the thieves.
It's fine if it's evil. You'll have to do whatever you want if it's evil.
Not entirely sure that's true, but possibly. So for now, we're overlooking this morally grey area.
I feel like that's a whole other conversation in itself about like who's evil and who's good depends on perspective.
Well, it's Pathfinder, so 2 wrongs do indeed make a right.
3 rights.
I'm going to start a little bit of music.
Have second ed?
I'm going to start
3 rights make a left.
I'm going to start a little bit of music for everyone, and I'm going to swing the OBS over to the map now. Right, everybody, you can see that we're in a bit of an odd position, that we have moved quite considerably from where I said we were going to be. We've had a little bit of a fun and games with this, and hopefully OBS will not do what it's been doing, which is switching between my sound outputs, which is where I've got a problem. It would appear that there is something that I am doing which is causing it to jump around in terms of what it's listening to in terms of output, which is why we've had so many problems. We are in a position where, after having a night's rest and a few other bits and pieces, the group has moved itself up into the Gauntlight Tower itself and has found the source of the light, as it were, that Rin has asked them to look for. So, we have left it at this point with a couple of little funny jokes and silliness about what's happening with this. We'll probably have a bit of a strange episode because it'll probably be a bit shorter, but we want to keep going as much as we can, even though we're having problems. That's a big thing for all of us, is just to try and get back on track. So yeah. Anyway, I've left you with this conundrum of what to do next, because you found the gauntlet, you found the lantern, you've also found a blood stain on the floor at the bottom of the tower, which moves on its own.
I have to admit, I'm not the most magically inclined of individuals. I am making a profession in hitting things. But I have to admit that puddle of blood that drips or doesn't drip with, or ripples without drips is a bit weird. I try and it.
So I know what I want to do, and I know you guys will say no.
Are you wanting to lick it?
What are we talking about?
I mean, a rock.
I meant the lantern.
What do you want to do with the lantern?
I don't know. I just want to touch it and see if anything happens.
Yeah, go for it.
But you guys are. Oh, okay. Neffy gets incredibly excited about this and immediately shoves her hands in there.
We either have to poke it or bugger off.
Exactly. I'm in. Poke it.
You put your hand on the lantern and discovered that it is very cold to the touch.
Unexpected.
And a little unpleasant to the touch.
It's like me. Cold and unpleasant.
I say nothing. Might
But does
hide behind Moz for a minute, but
Does anything seem to happen?
No.
Nope.
Okay.
It's not nice to touch, and it's very cold to the touch. But that's about it.
Are you able to identify anything about it? Like, does it seem... It's not like another creature or anything in there, or is it just a flame? What can I work out about it?
You looking at it, you cannot see any evidence that there is a flame in there. It seems to be just a swirling mass of this really sickly, unpleasant blue light, which casts itself into the rest of the room. And beyond that, that's about it at the moment. You can probably tell from the way that it is that, you know, if it's in the middle of the day, if it's the sunrise, probably a good reason why you can't see it. It's that kind of blue light that would be smothered by daylight. But as it gets to night, yeah, it's clearly going to be visible.
Am I able to remove it?
No.
Give it a shove.
It's a solid iron case,
Yeah.
basically bolted to the floor.
Yeah, alright then. So look at the blood.
And are there any like runes or anything carved into this, or is it just literally like an iron band cage around this glass crystal structure?
It's an iron banded cage around this crystal structure.
And there's no markings in the room. It just is like a lighthouse room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm guessing whatever witchery or weirdness is doing this is linked to something else then. Because if there's nothing in here doing it, other than it is, it'll be linked to something else somewhere.
And whether coming back at night might give us a different insight into it.
Might do.
I really want to know what's through that trap door. That's what I want to know.
what, the trapdoor we came up through?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's the stairs
No,
down.
because there was stairs, and it confused me because you said there was a thing directly over the top, and it threw me.
Okay, of course.
So far, all we know is this
Nothing.
thing's lit, and there's people living on the first layer, which anybody will do, and scavengers will do. I think we might have to go down a little bit into this because this place is. We've got nothing up here. Nothing useful.
Yeah.
Blood.
Yeah.
I know I'm fixated on it. Like, how? Like, could we see the ground underneath it, or did it seem to be on top of something? Like, was it just normal floor it was on top of?
Blood has this nasty habit of not being transparent. When there's enough of it, so you couldn't really see if there was anything underneath. It was just a pool of blood.
Okay, so I want to go down and try and push it aside and see if there's anything like underneath it, like any markings or anything.
Neffy puts her hand. Well, okay, look, if you're gonna do this,
I was going to use my hands.
I'm falling down. This is a bad idea. This is a bad idea.
Okay, so if you teleport yourself all the way back down, again, just select your token and then click on the stairs. It will portal you all back down the stairs. And if we get
there's a
down
wall
there as well.
I would say like throw a bit of rock or a bit of gravel in there first. Don't put your hands in.
And then I was gonna like use my shoes and like try and push it out of the way. Like I'm not put my bare hands in it.
You've got bare hands. Wow.
Where do you steal those bare hands from?
Quickly shoves them back in the bag.
Over the pie.
Do we need to have a small conversation about respect for the natural world?
It was already dead.
So, with a little bit of working it out in the best way that you can, you try and move the blood around. So there's this really fun thing that happens when you push viscous fluids, which is that they backflows. And so as you're pushing whatever it is you decide to push through this blood, it just seems to fill itself back in behind the object. You cannot see anything special underneath, it just looks like the floor. And there's no holes, there's no grates or grills or anything like that. It's just a puddle of blood.
But it's not. Because
There's more going on there. I detect magic. I haven't done it down here yet.
You do not detect any magic within 30 foot of you.
Damn it.
Some kind of recall knowledge check, maybe. Where do we remember the stories of where the big bad is supposed to have died? Was that like in the main hall, or was that in here? Is this like some strange after echo?
So, those of you that are local and know a little bit about the stories and everything else, the guess from what you've heard of the stories is that she probably died somewhere, or at least the big battle was probably somewhere in that main chamber. Maybe even where that sinkhole is. And now that you think about it, when you were thinking about the way that the sinkhole looked, it looked like there were burn marks around the room. Like there was potentially a very large battle there. So you don't think this has got anything to do with where the battle was. In terms of what else you can do with it, have a think.
Can I get a torch or like a firelighter and see if I can set it on fire?
You certainly can get your torch and you can bring it close to the blood and it does not ignite. It acts exactly like blood would.
Final loose checks. If you can't set it on fire, we can't push it away. It ripples with ethereal energy. Anyone got any test tubes who can get a sample in? Take this off to an alchemist and find out what is going on with it.
Does Neffy's high, is that still on the ground?
Yeah?
Sorry, so
Just let me just roll something very quickly.
It's never a good sign. Never a good sign. Yeah, I'm just going to say, we need to roll dice on this one.
So Neffy, are you really digging down into pushing this stuff around?
yes. I'm very annoyed that I don't know what it is. As in Neffy, not Becky.
After about 15 to 20 minutes of really sort of trying your best to push this about and everything else, the blood actually starts to spread away and dissipate. And then another few minutes later, and it's not there anymore.
Did we piss it off? We pissed off the blood pool so much it fucked off.
For God's sake, just let me rest.
Unfortunately,
Where did
I don't have control of. No, you can see that you have functionally washed it away, rubbed it away.
Okay.
You've spread it out so much, and it doesn't. What it was doing previously was it was congealing itself back together.
And there was like a
But
dip,
you've
yeah.
put some serious effort in. No, there was no dip. That's the thing that confused you.
Yeah.
The floor was flat, and it was just bringing itself back together. But after some concerted effort, you basically, get it out the door, get it over that way, soak it up with some rags, and it just doesn't reform. It just stops congealing back together, and you spread it out around the room.
Does anybody else feel that this is a little bit weird?
Not at
No. Shall I
This
go
is
and get another
incredibly
fire
weird.
going and get a brew up?
Yeah. Might take a minute just to. Just,
So, are you saying it's all across the room now? It's not congealing again, or it's literally just like buggered off out the door down the road?
There's not enough of it that it seems to be reforming itself.
Okay.
In the various things that Neffy has done getting frustrated with this thing, whatever it is, Neffy seems to have broken it.
Can we try singing to it?
I mean, you can try anything you
To
want,
it!
but there's none of it left.
I think whatever it was, we're done with it. It's broken its bust, or we're going to come back and it's congealed back later.
No. I defeated the blood puzzle.
Yeah.
I walk out triumphantly.
Go on for Neffy.
Congratulations.
Neffy 1, magical blood puddle 0.
Why don't you have a slice of pie to celebrate?
Already eating it.
So as you step through the door, Neffy, all of the
God.
rest of you that were in there notice all of a sudden the blood rushes back together, shoots upwards, up into the air, 100 foot, and you see it hit the ceiling, and then it slowly moves to where the trapdoor is, and seems to seep up through the trapdoor.
Old bug.
I'm running into the building and back up the stairs.
If it's the end of the world, I'm blaming you, Neffy.
I accept that. Oh God, wall.
This was the wet paint sign, wasn't it? Where the wet painted "Do not touch" in case of apocalypse. Neffy's pushed the button.
Do not push the big red button or the big red blob of blood.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No one was following me. I was like, oh, okay, that's fair.
You can die alone.
Okay,
Yeah, I did this to myself.
is everybody rushing up the stairs?
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever it is definitely a threat.
I'm
Multi
trudging,
threat,
I'm trudging up the stairs in a surly manner.
That's absolutely fair.
So, who goes through the door first?
Me.
Probably Neffy.
Very angry that my cleaning has not worked.
So, as you head up the steps and head into this chamber, you notice the blood is starting to wrap itself around the lantern,
God.
and just with enough time, the whole process takes just about enough time that everybody can get up the stairs. So, hopefully, we can get an Orin and a Phelan up here, because as the process finishes, the form of the blood congeals into a skeletal shape.
What?
Which
Step one, worry.
turns towards
Oh.
Neffy and
think you
begins
pissed it
to
off.
reach out for her. And we will do a
Yeah.
little bit of combat before this all starts, because you managed to trigger. Having looked at it and having looked at all the stuff, there was a way of triggering it, and you were about the only person that could. So well done. If anybody else had been messing around with the blood by trying to push it apart, it probably wouldn't have worked, because nobody else is trained in thievery, but you are.
So what caused this to happen? I'm so confused.
The thief messing around with a pool of blood triggered whatever the hell this is
Yep.
to yeet itself up 100 feet. 100 feet? And coalesce around this
Could everybody roll initiative, please? You do get +1 because Moz was technically scouting.
Say 21. Say 22 with the +1.
Oh, Jesus.
Did you by any chance use stealth as well?
23.
I rolled 18.
So
18 and 5, 23.
21.
Am I last with an 18?
You are.
God.
18. Phelan got a 23 as well.
3.
Moz got a 23.
I roll good or I roll terrible. I don't have these middle numbers.
Mean.
And then I didn't roll anywhere near as well. So we are going to start this combat then, and we're going to start with Phelan, who basically pops his head out the trapdoor to see this thing start to lurch forwards.
That don't look natural.
No shit, Sherlock.
Have some electric arc.
That seems fair. That seems fair. Make your attack.
Basic reflex save,
A
please.
basic reflex save from me, is it? Okay, and what number am I shooting for here for your spell DC?
My spell DC is a mighty 17.
Well, I rolled a 28, so that will be a critical success on my part.
Okay, well, fine.
You
The
do
feedback kills me.
you do still have one action.
$1 in to delay him, to ready to bite the damn thing if it comes near him.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, so you get him to delay and hold. Okay, Mosran.
Free action shout, what the hell is that thing? Any ideas? And try and identify it myself at the same time?
Okay.
No
that's fine. You got that. You look at this thing and you believe this is a blood golem.
I must have read about this somewhere.
Creatures crafted from the blood of other animals and other things and turned into like servitors.
Okay. Do I know enough to know what's bad for it and good for us?
You believe that hitting it really hard with weapons should be pretty good against it, and it might be vaguely immune to magic.
Awesome. That's one action. Action 2, move towards it. Action 3, splat. Based
Okay.
on current knowledge.
Okay.
I love secret rolls.
Make your attack roll.
Any telling us not to magic it?
It is a lot. Magic might not work. Who knows? I'm sure I read about this in a dream once. And I'll roll. That's a nat 20.
Okay, and that 20 is still good. That will certainly do it some damage. Roll your critical damage then.
So halberd is 1d10 plus 4, and then doubled, yes?
Yep.
Zeros is 10, so that's 4 plus 4 for 8 makes 16.
Okay, you hit down on this thing, and you start to immediately question your knowledge about it because it quite clearly doesn't take anywhere as near as much damage as you think it should do from the strike that you just gave it. It's almost like the blood moves, almost like a mist around the shape, and Lily doesn't look too happy.
Could be wrong though.
Neffy, it's your turn.
Recall knowledge.
Recall knowledge, absolutely. So that's that one.
This is
Okay.
why I love secret rolls.
You look at this thing and you go, right, okay. You're pretty certain on this one. This is a vampiric mist. You're
And
dead
you were
certain.
finger
You're
painting with it.
pretty darn certain that this is a vampiric mist. You
Can
don't.
I know things?
By the by, you don't think the thing downstairs was vampiric mist. This is really weird. You know quite a bit about it. What would you like? Weaknesses, strengths, or specials?
Guidance, guys. What do I want to know? Weaknesses, strengths, or
How fast do we
Special.
kill it? How do we kill it fast? What's good first and bad for it?
Weakness is
So-
probably better.
weaknesses? Yeah. let's go for
Okay.
that.
So, it is weak to fire.
Okay.
It's giving you some ideas about its defenses. Its reflex is its best defense, and it's got a pretty healthy amount of health to start with. Pretty big. This is probably the hardest creature you've fought so far.
Yay. Hey, shoot it!
Absolutely. I mean, it's flat-footed.
Okay. That's a nat 20.
Oh my
That's good. That's good. Roll your damage without the sneak attack. But you still get to double it.
Oh, so 10.
You just don't get your sneak attack at all.
That's mean. I reload,
You reload, and that is your turn.
and that is my turn, yeah.
Anka.
Set it on fire! You were right about the fire!
I can't. Well, do I still have the torch lit at this point?
It's dark downstairs.
Yeah, you will still have the torch in one hand.
So
it with
I
the torch?
purposely lit a fiery torch rather than the other burning torch when I was trying to set it on fire before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay,
the downside is you've got an ever-burning torch, which means it does no damage. Because downstairs,
so
ever-burning torches do not cause any fire damage. They do not do.
No, but I lit
Right.
a torch specifically to try and set it on fire before.
You did. That's true.
Yeah,
I'd
Is that
imagine.
one still lit? That's what I
No,
mean.
I'd imagine that after
Okay.
the time that it took for Neffy to clear everything up, you'd probably have put that one out and got your ever-burning torch back.
Okay. Then I flail madly in hope. So I'll move towards it and hit my sword on it.
Okie dokie. So you take a step
There's
forward.
not much
and
I
you
can
make
do
a-
right now.
You do have flanking,
Uh,
which will help a little bit.
I will move. I will. Yeah, I might as well empower. I forgot the name of the ability because I'm rubbish. The weapon surge,
Yep.
and then give it a good old swing with my +1 from that. That is only a 20.
That is still a hit.
Ooh, okay. Right. +1 bonus to attack roll, and the weapon deals an additional die damage. Okay, so.
I mean, the additional
8.
die damage is pretty big. And this is from your focus spell, isn't it?
Yes.
So yeah, one action to cast that, one hit, one
Ah!
big hit.
Yes, so I use an action to do that.
Yeah.
4 + 5 + 4 is a 13.
13. You hit this thing again. The blow does not seem to do as much damage as you feel your strike should have done. and the creature is still standing, and it's now its actions. So, looking at the situation and turning around, because somebody's a bit injured, and it seems to latch on to that fact.
Oh no.
And it turns around, and as it swings out its arm, rather than being hit by the claw, it's almost like the limb becomes a long tendril, and it slams into you, or at least it's going to try. So, let me see what I can roll on the old. I was almost going to roll it automatically there in system, but I roll a proper dice. A 20 to hit Mosgren.
18. Yeah, that's a hit.
Okay, you are going to take.
Can't use hero points to make you re-roll, can I?
No, you can't do that. You're only going to take 4 points of damage.
Huh? But
you also immediately start bleeding, and you are going to have 2
good.
persistent bleeding damage, which I will do. In fact, we'll just remember that. So you have 2 persistent bleed damage to handle on your turn. And in addition to that, I would very, very much appreciate it if you'd make a fortitude saving throw, please.
Fortitude, we're on +7. Let's roll the bone dice. That's a 14 plus 7 for 21.
A 21 is a success. You are not affected immediately, but you are bleeding. It will then turn round, and who will it go for? It will turn around and it will try and hit Anka with a second strike. A 22 to hit.
Yeah.
You will take 7 points of damage.
Yay!
You are also going to take 3 points of bleeding persistent damage on your turn. And I'd like I'd like you to make a fortitude saving throw, please.
I'm very good at those. 16 plus 8, 24.
You succeeded as well. And then... Well, I'm going to try and hit you again.
Thanks.
Yeah, I thought that was good. So, an 18?
Yeah, it would, because I didn't do a shield action. Oh, wait, hang on. Can I do a reaction to do a thing?
You can't reaction to shield block if you haven't raised your shield.
Cool.
It requires the raise shield to happen first. So, you will take another 8 points of damage. We will not add any more bleed though, you still only need 3 points of bleed. And another fortitude saving throw, please.
14 plus 8, 22.
Fair enough. It does not manage to do what it wanted to do on you guys. Unfortunately it's pinned between the 2 people with decent fortitudes, and it had the option of trying to run away but didn't really feel it was capable of doing that. It is Phelan's turn.
Okay. Quick question. If I do a 3-action heal,
Yes,
is that 1d8 or 1d8 plus 8?
it's just 1d8, but it affects everybody in 30 foot,
Right.
including this creature, if it's not undead.
Did anyone discern if it is undead? It looks skeletal, right?
It looks skeletal.
Okay.
I mean, that it is undead though.
Nephi, you will know it is not an undead creature.
It's not.
It's not.
Don't do the heal! Don't do it!
Well, okay, in that case, I'm going to do a 2-action heal on Anchor, because she seems to be the most beat up.
Yep, that's fine, and that's an automatic 1d8 plus 8.
Yeah, so that's 11 hit points.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to raise my shield.
And cry.
Okay, you raise up your shield. Mosrin.
Oh, balls. we've been loosey-goosey with the loot. It's something I'm aware of. But you know what? We're going to take a swing at this thing anyway. And I've got torches. I've got flint. Would you bill me 2 actions to get the torches and the flint and steel out, or is it get them out and start lighting them up?
So unfortunately, it would be where would you have your flint and steel? And the torch, to be fair, because this is where the problem comes. Functionally, if it's in your backpack, it actually takes 2 actions because you have to take the backpack off and then route around the backpack.
It's in a satchel, so I'm presuming it's in a messenger carry.
Okay. So
I've got backpack for rope bedroll and sleeping gear and my rations. I've got a belt pouch for my merchant type gear. I've got a satchel for war skin, flint, a portion of rations, and my torches.
Okay. The satchel to be big in for the torches is probably quite big, to be fair. The belt, getting your flint and steel, I would say is no problems whatsoever out of that, but there might be a bit of sort of tugging and pulling.
Yep.
It's probably going to take most of this turn to just get the stuff out.
There's the trade-off of hitting it with a lit torch versus just whacking it with the polearm.
Mm-hmm.
Hashtag not a metaphor. I'm gonna get him a stick and beat it.
Okie dokie. You go and beat it with your stick.
I will take. I'm going to check these dice when I get home. Oh, I am, but later. Not 20 on that.
Okay,
roll.
make a critical hit roll.
I'm going to check that one later. I got out of circulation because that's been doing too well. I like it, but it's doing too well. 1d10 plus 4. That. It's a metal, so 10 plus 4 for 14.
Doubled.
28.
So, it doesn't seem to take all of that, but in a rather hard and heavy swing, the blood splashes back onto the floor.
Can someone burn this before, or, yeah, can we get this thing torched before it gets up?
We tried it before.
Can we do it again?
Well,
Can anyone flambe this thing?
if we're out of initiative,
We are
produce
indeed.
flame. Bam!
Please. Sure.
No
So,
problems at all.
Fire. And after I've given it a flurry of produce flames, I'm going to go and start bandaging Moz.
please.
That seems fair. That seems fair. Make yourself a nature check for yourself.
Nat 2027.
Oh,
That's going to be 4d8 worth of healing.
Nice.
Okay, I have 26 back, Moz.
Oh, Jesus, thank you very much. That's more than topped out.
While you're doing that, I'll regain a focus and be like, "Dear God, what the fuck was that thing?"
That be,
Yes.
may I say, in the nicest way possible,
Yes.
don't go dancing in pools of blood next time.
Didn't dance in it. I did everything but.
You were like doing swirly things with your hands, feet, and everything.
I did do that. That is true. But it was strange, and I wanted to know what it was doing.
We now know.
We now know.
There you go. See, we answered the question.
Has
I only see a winner.
has Anka's self-attention and my previous healing cured her bleeds? Or do I need to natural medicine some over there?
You will need to medicine her. In fact, with the natural 20, I'm going to say Moz was fairly easy to patch up. But yes, Anka is technically still bleeding.
Okay, 21 all in.
Yep, so 2d8 worth of healing, and that will be enough, in my opinion, to also patch your bleeding.
So that's 11 healing and the bleed's dealt with.
Yep, I'm happy to say the bleed is dealt with as part of that.
Cool.
So,
Thank you.
sat up in this tower, this creature destroyed, whatever it was, with Neffy kind of scratching her head because the stuff that was downstairs should not have created or should not have been anything to do with this type of creature. You are stood in the top of the Gauntlight Tower still after a few sort of minutes of processing and handling what's going on. And at that point, I'm going to stop this recording and cross my fingers that it's worked, at least for the latter part of it, and we can salvage something from tonight. Because it's been one of those things where we've had fun. Unfortunately, we've not been able to pass that fun on as much as we like. But with any hope, we have at least entertained people. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Night out there.
We will see you again.
Whatever you are.
Yeah, the next time we can record. Good night, everyone. Bye bye.